You've become kind of the spokesperson the last week or so for UFC. Did you get any guff over this? First of all, GSP throws out the comments during a sit-down with the media that he may want to try the Olympic team. You're like, you know what, he told me those weren't the comments. But I think the one that caught more attention yesterday were your comments about Brock Lesnar. So how much have you talked to Brock, and what are we hearing? Because the UFC and Dana White are very tight-lipped about the whole situation.
Well, I don't have any inside information, really. I gave Brock a courtesy call. I heard he was real sick, and took me, it was like trying to find the Pope to get his number, but I finally got a hold of him before Christmas just to see how he was doing, and he was very upbeat, very positive, said that he was training again, and that he wasn't cleared yet to get on the mat, but that he was back in the gym and that he was training and he felt way better, and that he'd be back this spring. He's back on the road to recovery, and things look good. He was waiting for January to get cleared by the doctors before he could go back into the gym and get on the mats, but that he was going to the gym and training. So okay. That was encouraging to me. He sounded good.
I mean, you realize that those are shocking statements for a lot of people, because we've heard stuff like his career might be over. We're going to find out this last week about potential serious surgery, and he could be out 2 years. So when you throw that out, everyone was like, what in the hell?
Yeah, unless something's changed. It sounded like he'd already had a surgery and kind of gotten the situation under control and was back in the gym training. So unless there's been, I haven't talked to him for a couple of weeks now. I suppose that could have happened, but as far as I knew, he'd had a surgery already and had gotten things under control and was feeling pretty good.
It's an odd, secretive process. I don't blame him for wanting to keep it private, but it's been shrouded in mystery now for like 4 months, and it's an important deal. I mean, the guy's one of the biggest draws in the fight world.
Yeah, he's took the sport by storm, barnstormed in, yep. And he'll be back. I think he'll be back. That's my feeling.
All right. So with his injury, with George St. Pierre's, with Anderson Silva, then a rash of injuries in the heavyweight division, and for 108, the cards in terms of big-time names got a little light. You've now stepped up for 109. You're going against Mark Coleman. And I got to tell you, for a guy who's a legend and done all this for UFC and for MMA, fans are acting as if it's kind of, what have you done for me lately? And I'm seeing a lot of criticism. Hey, the two old guys, the Pens, the this, the that. And it's like, what happened to the respect factor? That because they'll get on us. They'll get on the media for making little cracks. And now I've seen a lot of fans who are complaining.
I don't know. I haven't heard any complaints. And
yeah.
I don't plug into any of that. And my own guys tease me and say, "Oh, we should move that to Caesars. We'll call it the Geezers at Caesars." And that's typical stuff. Mark's a formidable opponent, and he's been around a long time, as have I. It is the first time they've had two Hall of Fame guys face each other. There's some interesting things in the matchup because of our wrestling background. I think it always makes for an interesting fight. So I don't plug into any of that stuff. Yeah. I have had back-to-back fights now, I think, because of the string of injuries that a lot of guys have sustained, and that's certainly good for me. So,
yeah. Frankly, I think fans are getting a little spoiled, which they should have got a little bit of a wake-up call last week, the last really 3 weeks, with what went down with Mayweather and Pacquiao and the way boxing is now, where you're not going to get that super fight. We're getting pretty solid cards here, and yet they're still complaining. I think sometimes you got to have a little perspective. Every card is not going to feature a top 5 pound-for-pound guy.
Yeah, it's just the way it is. You can only fight so many times. I'm probably pushing that, doing my third back-to-back fight. So, and our sport is a rough sport. The guys get hurt. They get hurt a lot in training, and sometimes that unfortunately is serious and takes some time to recover.
So this fight, do you see you guys locking horns and doing a lot of wrestling? I mean, is there going to be that attempt, or is it going to wind up being, hey, let's test the cardio and throw hands?
Oh, I'm definitely going to test the cardio, regardless, whether we're wrestling and grappling and on the ground or standing. I feel like, Mark's a big, powerful guy, so I have to be attentive on my feet for sure. And he's going to shoot that straight double leg. I mean, he wants to put everybody on their back. His style hasn't changed in 12 years, 13 years. So, I'm going to have to wrestle him and neutralize that part of his game to keep him on his feet and keep him where I feel like I have a distinct advantage.
The goal after this fight, if you get the win, I mean, do you feel like you're right there in the chase for a title shot? You got to get another fight. You want Machida? Is that the ultimate goal, or do you want to go? I mean, if they offered you a heavyweight fight, I don't know, because at this point you must have a plan. Towards the end of your career here. I know you like fighting, but you got to have some end game.
I don't really have a plan. Obviously, I'd like a title fight. I'd love to fight Machida. I think he's a very interesting, intriguing opponent, and nobody, Shogun's the closest to solving that puzzle with the counter leg kicks, and it sounds like they're going to probably get a rematch. I would love, I feel like I'm certainly in the mix at 205 now. I'd like to try that out. I don't know that Coleman's a step in the right direction towards being a contender in the division or not, but it doesn't really matter to me. It's about interesting fights, and if they throw an interesting fight at me at heavyweight, I'd probably take that.